Most pressure washing and exterior cleaning businesses don't need more leads. They just need to stop burning the ones that they already get. In this video, I'm going to give you the exact system our best exterior cleaning clients use to turn more quotes into jobs. And it comes down to two things: how fast you respond and the 7 questions you ask on every call so you can avoid the objections that usually kill the sale. And if you've had people say things like, "Let me think about it," or "Can you just text me a quote?" Stay with me on this video and we'll go ahead and fix that. Because the first thing that you want to address is speed. Most exterior cleaning clients and businesses that we work with don't even answer the phone consistently. And you can't go ahead and even start a sales conversation if you don't engage and get on the phone with the client. And so there's a ton of industry data and they all say the same thing. Fixing the response time and show rate alone can add 20 to 40% more revenue without getting a single extra lead. So you want to make sure that you're answering the phone live whenever you can. If you miss a call or get a website lead, a Facebook lead, a Google Ads lead, call that lead back within 60 seconds. And if they don't pick up, you need to double dial and then send a text, not just send an email saying, "Hey, what do you need done? This is our services." Because there's also automation tools that you can leverage for save your time in your CRM, and also tools that go high level that can do instant callbacks and text on your behalf. And you want your potential customers to be saying things like, "Wow, that was fast." So remember, guys, speed gets you the conversation. You can't sell if you don't engage a conversation with the customer to begin with. Now let's fix what you say in that initial conversation. I'm going to give you 7 simple questions, and for each one, I'm going to tell you why it matters, what objection it's tied to before you ask for the sale, prevents the objection from even showing up later. So you don't need to be the best salesman in the world. You just need to ask these questions so that when you go to book the job, you don't get blindsided and sound salesy instead of consultative. So what are those 7 questions? Well, I'll break down each one by one. So the first question that it's centered around is the objective. What is the objective of why that customer is calling you? So the question you want to go ahead and ask is, what made you reach out today? What are you hoping to get cleaned or fixed? And the reason why this matters is because this makes them say the problem or the goal in their own words. Their pain becomes your actual roadmap to where you can map your solution. Because at that point, you're actually saying things that they care about instead of throwing a generic quote at them that they're not even educated on at all. And so usually when you don't ask about what their objective is or what they need cleaned or what they need fixed, and you just go ahead and throw out a price, then you're going to hear things like, "I just need to think about it," or "Just send me a quote." People are a lot less likely to stall when your solution is clearly tied to the exact reason for why they called. It also opens up the door for education, because they might think that they need pressure washing for their roof, but when you hear their objective and see the issue, you can explain why they actually need a soft wash and how it protects their shingles and plants. Because guess what? You're the guide. You're the person leading the conversation. And so now the next question is going to be centered around timing, when they want to get it done. And so the question you would ask on here is, when were you hoping to have this done by? And why does this question matter? Because this turns a casual inquiry into a specific deadline. So it tells you if they're serious or just browsing around and wasting your time. And it lets you position that doing it sooner is actually the smarter move than doing it later. Because usually what objection you're going to hear if you don't ask this question is, "Hey, maybe later. Hey, call me back when I'm ready. Hey, I'm actually just trying to just browse around with companies because I'm not looking to get this solved until 3 months from now." And the biggest one that a lot of people always get, the third question, is centered around decision maker. So you want to go ahead and ensure that you identify the decision maker. So the question that you need to be asking is it just you deciding on this or someone else involved? Whether it's a spouse, a board, a property manager, the kids, you never know, right? And the reason why this matters is because this tells you how decisions actually get made, so you don't do a full quote and then at the end you hear, "I need to talk to my wife, my boss, our board, the property manager," and then you're surprised. How does this come up in real world scenarios? Because this is one of the hardest objections to actually overcome. So for example, let's say that you're talking to a man, you could say, "Yeah, my wife usually helps decide that stuff," right? Or a woman could say, "Yeah, my husband usually decides that stuff." You can immediately say, "Perfect. Do you two usually make those calls together on the phone, or do you prefer I send something over you guys can both look at?" Then you either get both on the call now, or you you would schedule a quick follow-up when they're both available. Now, the fourth question you want to go ahead and ask is, the question is going to be centered around their current situation. When was the last time this was cleaned? Have you had any issues like this in the past, like slippery concrete, HOA letters, any of your tenants complaining if you're talking to like a commercial property manager? Why this matters is because it takes just a simple dirty driveway and turns it into something else that you can go ahead and map a solution to, whether that's safety, fines, or even their reputation. It lets you set the right scope and price and make it obvious why a quick, cheap job, right, isn't actually solving their problem. Because a lot of people, whenever you go over the current situation, they might say things like, wow, that's more than I expected, right? When you go ahead and you map out the solution. And so if you go ahead and ask this question, you can go ahead and justify that price because of everything that they told you about what? Their current situation. Because if you don't ask about their current situation, they might go ahead and try to haggle, or they might bring extra things into the equation, and you have no way at that point of going ahead and justifying the price that you have. So make sure that you're extracting as much about their current situation as possible. Now, the next and fifth question that you should be asking is going to be centered around their past experiences. And so the question you want to go ahead and ask is, have you ever tried or hired someone for this before? What did you like, or what annoyed you, or what did you dislike? So you want to go ahead and see their past experiences, or have they even hired an exterior cleaning company? Because this tells you what they're scared of, or this tells you also what you need to educate them on as well. If somebody's already got it done before, they're probably pretty educated, but they also might be scared of you repeating something. It also tells you what words and methods you should avoid or explain more carefully so you don't accidentally trigger that fear. So usually objections you'll hear is, hey, the last guy was cheaper, or they killed my plants with soft washing. Then when you go ahead and map your solution, you're going to acknowledge their past experience, and you show exactly how your process is different before they ever even object. So now you're educating them instead of arguing with them. And so the sixth thing that you want to ask, right, or what it's going to be centered around asking, is going to be the budget, right? So the question you want to go ahead and ask is, have you set aside a rough budget for this yet? And why this matters is because when, you're checking if they're just looking for the $99 guy, or if they're really wanting a quality job. It also gives you flexibility later to adjust what's included instead of immediately discounting your price, making you not look as authoritative. And so this objection is usually tied to, that's more than what I wanted to spend, right? Whenever you're going ahead and pitching the sell or going out to their home or quote, guess what? They're like, that's more than I wanted to spend. And so let's go walk through a real scenario and how it prevents the objection. So if they say something like, I was hoping to stay around $400, now you know their range before you even map the solution or give them a quote. So when you ask that question, they say something like, hey, I was hoping to stay around $400. But let's just say that, in order for you to fulfill that job, it's $650. When you present it, you can frame it like, hey, look, everything we talked about, our full package to around $650. I know you're at $400. So if you'd rather keep it closer to that $400 mark, we can focus on front of the house and the driveway. And then we can go ahead and visit that. And then we can save the sidewalk and back patio or deck for later, which feels better. And so now you're giving them alternatives. And so what you can do is, if you're going to go ahead and map out to their budget, you're not necessarily cheapening your service, because you don't want to discount your price and then still perform all the services at the $650, because even if you want to have this customer for long term, what are they going to do? Always haggle you. The next question is going to be centered around the ideal outcome of what they want to go ahead and have. And so that question looks like, if this goes perfectly, what does it look like for you? What would make you feel this is super easy on your end? And why this matters and why you want to ask this question is because this defines what a win is in their own words. So they might say, hey, I want zero hassle. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want HOA letters. I want my neighbors to be impressed. I want happy tenants or customers. Whatever it is, it gives you powerful language that you can use when you're summarizing, and it allows you to go ahead and actually, not even powerful language, but it allows you to go ahead and map your solution even better. And so those are the 7 questions. So once you ask those 7 questions, your close is pretty simple, because now here's what this can sound like overall once you ask those simple 7 questions, which are going to go ahead and be, to recap them, they're going to go ahead and be questions centered around their objective, right? So you can go ahead and ask, what made you reach out today? What are you hoping hoping to get cleaned? The second can be timing. When were you hoping to have this done by, right? The third question that would center around is decision maker. Is it just you deciding on this, or is anyone else involved? The fourth is going to be their current situation. So you can ask, when's the last time you've had this cleaned? Any issues that you specifically had, like HOA letters or tenants complaining? The fifth question is going to be about their past experience. And that question is going to be, have you ever hired someone for this before? What did you like and what annoyed you? The sixth question is going to be centered around budget. So have you set aside a rough budget for this yet? And the seventh and final question is the ideal support. If this goes perfectly, what does it look like for you? What will make this be a super easy process for you at that point? Because then when you go ahead and you close, you can give an example like this. You can say, based on what you said about their pain and their goal and needing it done by the timing that they said to you, here's what I recommend. And then you'll say what you do based off of their ideal, based on their current situation, and based on their budget, right? And then after that, you can say the total for that is X amount of dollars. I've got this day or that day, which works better. No pressure, just matching your solution to the exact problem and timeline that you've already told me. So guys, remember a quick recap on this. Answer fast, call back in under a minute, double dial, and then text if they don't answer. And then run these 7 questions on every lead before you go ahead and pitch a quote or an estimate. And use your answers to map a solution or to shape your recommendation so objections don't show up on your end. And overall, guys, if you're struggling with even getting calls to close, or you want more consistency of leads so that you can close, or you want to take another revenue jump, there's also a link to book a call with our team in the description below, because we help exterior cleaning businesses doing over $100,000 a year grow their business. Whether you're doing $100,000 a year, book a call with our team and we can help you get more leads, get more impact, close more jobs in your area. So remember guys, do the boring work, run this script, close more jobs, and I'll see you in the next one.